Today, we introduce to you a Shining World Compassion Award recipient from Malaysia, a loving 78 years young lady, Miss Mee Fah. After many decades working for humans, Ms. Chan retired and used her inheritance from her late husband to build a life-saving shelter for animals. Located in Semenyi, a small town in southeastern Selangor, Malaysia, Mee Fah's shelter was built on leased property 3 years ago and is now a loving home for over 1,400 animals. Ms. Chan lives at the shelter in a small container home to be close to her adopted furry family. On September 14, 2019, our association members from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, were honored to visit Ms. Mee Fah at her shelter. We asked what inspired her to adopt so many animals.
Basically, it's compassion. I've done a lot of work in my life for the two-legged. After a while, I noticed that these four-legged were put aside, and the concentration with charity and everything is focused on the two-legged. And it is, to me, sort of an imbalance, because every one of us is a creature of God. I think this is an area where I least expected to do, because I've always been doing professionally a lot of people's things, not four-legged, because I was a former sort of real estate agent. I've been a reporter, then I've been a salesperson. So I look at it that this stage in my life, God say, okay, after all the superficial things, you better come down and put your feet and realize that there's something else that you can do before you meet me. So I find that this is really the thing that I would love to do, and I'm very fortunate to be doing it.
When she was younger, Ms. Chan often visited local shelters and adopted animals that were about to be euthanized. In her 20s, while working as a radio and TV news reporter, Ms. Chan was already caring for 10 rescued dogs at her bungalow. Fortunately, her mother, grandmother, and late husband were all animal lovers as well, and supportive of her compassionate heart. As her family of adopted animals grew, she moved 3 times to larger accommodations, eventually settling in her leased property at Semenyi. Ms. Chan actually never thought about adopting animals until she visited her grandmother one day and was enamored with her simple way of life surrounded by dog companions.
One day, I went to the kampong to visit my maternal grandmother. She has a little orchard there. And then I found she kept a lot of dogs. She's a sprightly old lady. She was 90 years old. She still went around cutting down bamboo to try and make it livable for herself and the four-legged around her. And I found that way and the cause for living very, very inspiring. And it's a very nice way of living.
Ms. Chan estimates that her existing finances are sufficient to operate the shelter for another 2 years. She hopes that by then, with help from longtime friends and supporters, her shelter would be granted non-governmental organization or NGO status. This would allow her to hold public fundraisers. Ms. Chan is not too worried though, because she has strong faith in the divine and believes everything is God's arrangement.
I do think that for the fact that I've been given this area to do, God has always been with me all the way. I've never been let down, and everything has been met. It's like you live a life where you give a lot of love, and the love is also returned, whether with two-legged or four-legged. And you meet people, the best part is you meet people who are all heart. And it's such a pleasure to be with this area. Everyone that you meet, the love is in their eyes. And they come with the most beautiful of expression.
Miss Mee Fah Chan is a remarkable lady from Malaysia who spent her inheritance to build a loving animal shelter where she lives and cares for over 1,400 animals with help from 17 co-workers. In speaking of children, Miss Chan believes animals help to foster love at a young age.
If you bring in an animal, the children will always bond. Because a child that takes to an animal will always care for the parents as well. I always believe that.
Miss Chen, what is your view of being kind and loving towards animals by going vegan?
I would say it is very important to be vegan, and it's a very good move. A very good philosophy, and if the world becomes entirely vegan
world,
then we are already in heaven.
Upon hearing about the wonderful work of this kind lady, our beloved Supreme Master Ching Hai heartfully present Miss Chan with the Shining World Compassion Award, plus a supporting token of $15,000 with all love and gratitude for your noble work and devotion to our precious animal co-inhabitants. Our association members from Kuala Lumpur gratefully presented the award, contribution, and gifts to Miss Chan.
Mee Fah Chan, founder of Mee Fah's Shelter, Malaysia. Dear Mee Fah, it is with great admiration and gratitude that we present to you the Shining World Compassion Award for nurturing kindness towards animals within the community. This award is presented in recognition of your unconditional love, sacrificing your possessions to benefit our precious animals' friends. Your benevolence heralds a new golden era of empathy where all of Earth's co-inhabitants can live in harmony. You have turned the tragic passing of your beloved husband into a great blessing by using the inheritance to build an animal shelter on leased property to provide a home to 1,300 dogs, 60 cats, 40 tortoises, and a monkey. As a form of sacrifice, like a real living saint, you reside in a container home at the shelter and spend every day taking care of your furry friends while being wheelchair-bound. You calculated you will have sufficient finances to operate the shelter for the next 2 years and hope that by this time it will be accepted as an NGO and public funds will be available. Speaking of your happiness in this labor of love, you said, it is about living life with a purpose. We warmly thank you and are touched, Mee Fah, by your incredibly generous and empathetic heart. For having a heart of gold, for your altruism and generosity, and for bringing joy into so many lives, we hereby applaud and celebrate the great compassionate deeds of Mee Fah Chan. May heavens forever protect and bless you, your staff, and all those you care for in divine grace. With great honor, love, and blessing in God's grace, Supreme Master Ching Hai. Shining World Compassion Awards from Supreme Master Ching Hai for Mee Fah Chan in recognition of energetic, courageous, and selfless devotion caring for street animals, rescuing, nurturing, sheltering, and providing a forever loving home, defending and encouraging humane justice and respect. With compliments and gratitude for your compassionate and benevolent commitments to save precious animal lives. Presented by the Supreme Master Ching Hai, September 2019.
Thank you. I'm very, very touched and very honored to have been picked from so many people to receive this award. This is what I would like to really say, that God has thrown down to the shelter in Rinching in the form of Great Master Ching Hai to come and touch all my colleagues and say, you have been very blessed.
Supreme Master Ching Hai is deeply grateful to the beloved God for all the financial help, comfort, and support to the afflicted and needy and/or any good cause over the years, as a humble vessel for His compassion and love toward His precious children. For more information about Mee Fah Shelter, please visit blog.theanimalrescuesite.greatergood.com/mee-fah or the Facebook page Mee Fah Shelter. Generous viewers, thank you for your company on Shining World Compassion Award recipient Mee Fah Chan, Nurturing Love. Let us send our heartfelt congratulations to Miss Mee Fah Chan and her beloved animal friends. Up next is The Best Thing is Enlightenment, Part 1 of 6, on Between Master and Disciples, right after noteworthy news. May all lives be ever more enriched with inner peace and love.